Okay, y'all, so I've got a Troy-Bilt rear tine tiller here that I believe I showed y'all whenever I got it on the trailer, but I'm now in the process of fixing it, just because I've got like 15 or anywhere between 12 and 15 lawnmowers ready. Sold 3 here in the past few days, so making a little progress here late in the season. But when I got it, this tiller, it essentially looked like this. You know, it was in pieces. I have all the pieces for it, thankfully, but the thing was in pieces. And I've linked this back together. I had everything on it just to see, just for the heck of it, if it would crank up, but obviously it didn't. I mean, everything is salvageable on it, believe it or not. I was not expecting this. But as you can see right there, I tried to run it. It cranked and ran on starting fluid, but I got a main jet clog there. I never had one of these 4 horsepower horizontal shafts. Of course, they're like the Pulsajet. They have the diaphragm here, and I actually forgot. I'll have to take that back off too, because I've got, I guess this little ring right here goes into the carb, or goes into that diaphragm, and so that'll probably help it run a little bit better. But the diaphragm and stuff and everything was off of it as well. So we're gonna find out if I can get all this unclogged here. I've already sprayed some carb cleaner on it. Now I'm gonna try and throw some wire and stuff through it here, and I can get it. I'm gonna blow it out with the air jet too, but I mean, it's just caked up in there. I want to definitely get something a little bit more powerful than that. But I figured y'all would probably enjoy doing or looking at this, because I hope that this is going to be a good tiller. I'll show y'all the model number there. Hopefully the light will catch it. Probably in the early 2000s, but really I don't think it's been used a ton. I've got some stuff in the back here, like whatever, but the tine's turn and the drive wheels run. I took the pins out because I can't even get the drive wheels, or I can't even get the wheels to turn by themselves, so I'm just kind of like walking this thing back and forth right now, and it's a little bit of a struggle to get it to move, or it's just more time consuming than anything. But let me kind of do a little work on this carburetor. I think I'll be able to salvage it, or I know I'll be able to salvage it, or at least I hope it can. And so let me spray some carb cleaner and kind of give it a little bit of the air treatment, and I'll take this cover off and I'll show y'all inside of that too, if y'all haven't worked on a horizontal shaft engine before. So let me go ahead and keep working. So I looked a little bit further into this carburetor, and I took the diaphragm thing off. This right here was the piece I forgot to put back in after I looked online. So like I said, I'd never messed with one of these before. This right here, it's not a jet on this. It's just an indentation, I guess, where the jet could be. And then there's a couple of, and the one in the middle there, I sprayed carb cleaner up in the top here, and it would drip down through here, so I know that that's clean. Then the one beside it is just like a little metal thing too. Now let's see, this one up here is like a little metal thing in it as well, and then a couple other places. But let's see, and I'll show you all this carb screw right here. I'm just making sure that it's horizontal like that, because that's the way the jet faces on it, and I figured that the jet was going that way on it. What else? I think that's about it. I have to take the exhaust off to get to this. That's the only bummer, but they make it easy for you to take it off. So I've cleaned all that. I'm wondering if the diaphragm, because I know the diaphragms are a wear item on these, and you can see that this one right here is just in bad shape. I wonder if that would, hopefully that wouldn't hinder it from actually starting. I would think that it would start, but it just wouldn't stay running. So the goal is just to get this thing starting on its own and running on its own, or at least start on its own without starter fluid. So the only thing I found was that this tube right here for the intake for the fuel pickup is a little bit messed up there. But I mean, I'm able to keep it on there. I just got to make sure that whenever I put the gas tank on that it stays. But I mean, apart from that, this thing looks good. Like I said, I'm just hoping that I can get it running. It's so close with starter fluid. And I mean, even though the thing's rusted, I mean, the thing's in nice shape overall apart from the rust. So let me go ahead and fit everything back on. I can show y'all how to put everything back on. It's a little bit complicated, but the gas tank is, where do I put the gas tank is behind me here. Gas tank basically just slides up here. This right here just goes on to here, and there's like 5 little screws that put that in. So that's not bad at all. And then gas tank, I have 1 screw here, 3 screws here, right there and there, and then this one actually doubles as the choke, a mount for the choke and throttle mechanism, that 3rd one, and then there's another one that mounts to the gas tank, and then a mounting bolt there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this gas tank back on now that I've got everything cleaned up, and back on the way that it's supposed to. Like I said, it was kind of a puzzle because it was in pieces when I got it, and I'm just trying to get it to where it will actually run, or at least start on its own, like I said, with the condition of this diaphragm, which I don't even think I put on the correct way. Hold on. That looks a little bit better. Yeah, that looks much better, actually. So, I'll put that on. Like I said, I'll dress this thing back up, and we'll see if we can at least get it started and let it run on its own. I would love to see that happen with this tiller, considering the money I've got into it, which isn't pretty much the equivalent of 20 bucks. But it came with a lot that I've already sold a couple mowers from, so, you know, it's basically a freebie either way. So let me go ahead and put everything on and see what we can do here. And just for the record, I had it wrong after I turned it. That is the way the carburetor diaphragm is supposed to look like on here. So let me put that on as well. So I've got this thing back together. Only thing I can think that would keep it from running, since I cleaned out everything, there's 2 things. One of them is that bottom portion of the pickup tube. I'm not quite sure if it is good. Hopefully it is. And then the second one was that freight, or that diaphragm. I know I'll have to put a diaphragm on it, just because that one was all dry rotted and stuff. And it's not too bad, because I just got to take off the exhaust here, and the exhaust will slide right out. But let me actually set this thing down and see if we can get it to run on its own. Hopefully I'll be able to here. Well, it started on its own. That is an encouraging sign. Hopefully it will continue to start on its own here. I'm hoping it's not running off the carb cleaner only that I had sprayed in there. That is my fear. But let me keep pulling on this and see if I can get this thing to start for us. I'll do it off camera to save a little bit of time, but if I get it running, I'll pick up the camera and show you all that it runs. So I have probably a classic sign of a bad diaphragm here. Y'all saw it was cracked. I just wanted to make sure it would start on its own, and it does, which is good. Barely on full choke with my finger over this. So I will show y'all, and the muffler's getting hot too, but I'll show y'all that it at least does this. So that's it, which is a very encouraging sign. So let me just show y'all here real quick. So it's full throttle right now, full choke, and it will run. If I just hold my finger right here, it pulls up enough gas. It pulls up enough gas to run, at least for 15 seconds. So that's an encouraging sign that it will start and run on its own. I actually don't have one of the screws in all the way. That might have something to do with it. But that's all about trying to find the right tools, right? I don't think I put that screw in the whole way. So let me do that. This is kind of an odd screw because it's the fourth one, but it stays on the carburetor, or stays on the intake, excuse me. Probably has nothing to do with it, but just it's kind of like an oddball screw there. So who knows? Probably won't crank, but I mean it'll hit over once or twice. So I think the next step for this tiller is a carb diaphragm, and I got to buy some lubricant. I didn't realize I was out of lubricant at home here, so buy some of that. Got to lube up the cable there and whatnot, and somehow free up these drive wheels, or read the instruction manual to figure out how to free up the drive wheels here, so I can actually roll it around. But I think we'll have a good one here. Really surprised since I found it in pieces, but really excited to hopefully get this thing going. So I got the old diaphragm back off. You can see where the exhaust essentially just slides in, so you just have to kind of take the top bolt out and then loosen the bottom bolt, which isn't too bad, and the exhaust slides out, so that you can actually get to these 4 bolts for the fuel pump diaphragm, and was able to get it off. And I showed y'all earlier that this is all cracked up and dry rotted and stuff. So this hopefully will fix my problem. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on, put everything back on, and I got the oil plug out a little bit too because I need to fill it up with some oil. But yeah, let me do all that, and we'll see if we have a running tiller here. So I got the new diaphragm and the exhaust on and the intake tube back on. Hopefully, it's not an exact fit, but hopefully it is a good enough fit where this thing will actually run. So I'm going to put this down and attempt to crank it. It's still doing the same thing, which is strange. I'm going to continue to look at this and see if I can find out why it's doing that. Hopefully I can get it to where it will actually run correctly here. So if y'all saw when I originally put it in, this little ring here I put inside the carburetor. So, and like I said, I'm not 100% sure how all these go, so we're going to experiment with this. I'm going to put the ring on between the diaphragm and the plate here, and we're going to see let's see how it does. Like I said, if I can hold on to it, this diaphragm is not an exact fit. I guess it goes to either a new style or I don't know, but it still fits snugly over the area that I need it to fit. So I don't think it's the problem. I don't think that's the problem, because it was doing the exact same thing whenever I put it back on. So I have a feeling that I just didn't put this diaphragm on right, with the ring right there at the carburetor. So let me try this and we'll crank it up, see if that's what fixes it. Alright, so let's try this again. If this isn't it, then it's something that I'm either blatantly missing or it has something to do with the fuel pickup. So I might have to order a fuel pickup for this. But I mean, I know it's bringing gas up. It's just not holding it for some reason. So here we go. Still doing the same thing, unfortunately. I mean, I'll put the air filter on it, see if that does anything, but I doubt it. So I'm kind of stumped. I'll have to do a little bit of more research on this to see if I can get it going again. It's a little bit unfortunate, but it happens, right? So I'll keep working on it. So I learned after looking online at how to put these things on, since I've never put one on before, at how poor of a job I did. I showed y'all two things, and neither of them are correct according to multiple places I've looked at on the on fellow YouTubers' videos. The way that I have seen them put it, and hopefully it's the way that it goes, is that the diaphragm goes flat against the plate here. And that you've got your spring and your little ring here. The ring goes right there on the end of the diaphragm. And the spring goes in like that. And then we put it up in the carburetor. We're going to try this. Hopefully this works, because as you can, well, I don't know if you can see, but I mean it was pulling fuel up into the carburetor because it was wet when I took it off. So it's just my silliness. I know I post some how-to videos, and this is probably not a good one, but we're going to put it on this way now, as you can see. And we're gonna try and give this thing a start. Hopefully third time's the charm. So I got this thing on as what is perceived to be the correct way, hopefully. So let's, I don't know how many takes this has been, but let's try this now. Another wonder when you put the diaphragm in correctly that it'll actually run on its own. Not very well yet, but it will run on its own. Miracles do occur, guys. Actually drive the till here. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, it will, but the cable is a little bit stretched, so. Alright, so I'm going to put an air filter on it. I'm going to let it run for a little bit. I've got a better air filter than that one, so. But hey, it does run, which is awesome. I'm going to let it run for a little while, and hopefully I'll have a good tiller here. So as you can see, it works. I've done a little bit of practicing with it down here in the waist area, and so I'm going to give y'all a little bit of a demonstration with it. The only thing I can figure is that this cable right here is a little bit worn, so the cable isn't really going back and forth. I'll give it a look to see why it's doing that. But apart from that, this thing runs good, tills good, and all that stuff. So let me crank it up for us. So that was it. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Glad I was able to get this tiller running. Hopefully I'll sell for good money, or I'll sell it to my uncle, one or the two. I know he's looking for a rear tine tiller, so we'll see. But thank y'all for watching.